Hello, everybody. My name is James. Welcome to the final podcast of day two of Correspondent Week. And on episode 8, I've got a man who's potentially had his front line, his manager, his captain. It's all been ripped apart. Is his new captain going as well? We might find that out. It's Tom Med, our Brentford correspondent. How are you, pal?
Good mate, positive as always. Positive as always.
Yeah, that's why I have to do that sort of intros just to bring you down a
Bring me
notch so we
down.
can
Yeah.
bring back to reality of a bit of normality. You and I obviously podded not that long ago where we spoke quite a bit then about obviously the change at the club with Thomas Frank leaving and Keith Andrews taking over. We're not going to kind of rehash over that again. But do we know at this stage what we're expecting, like tactically, formation wise, from Andrews?
I mean, it looks a lot of the same as what we've had from Frank, really. 4-2-3-1 seems quite. I mean, we've only had two pre-season games, so it's been really hard to sort of see how it's going to be or how it's going to go going forward. But it seems to be that it's pretty same or similar to what we've had previously with Thomas Frank, and it seems to be almost a continuation rather than, wholesale changes.
Well, the club's gone for continuity with the appointment anyway, so that
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. I've had a look through some stuff, and it's quite difficult to tell at this moment because obviously the caliber of opponent you're playing in the games you played is not like what you're going to face in the Premier League. We can't rule out that you play an opponent like Chelsea and go, yeah, it's back three/back five,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it looks like at the moment it's primarily going to be a back four. Do you feel like it's sunk in now and ready to go?
Yeah. I think I think the nice thing is because it's continuation, it's sort of there's some consistency there. The players don't have to adapt to a whole new way of thinking. So I guess there's almost a positive, that if you brought in a manager from, that's anywhere external, you've got a complete change in philosophy and tactics potentially. And the fact there's almost some continuation, actually, I think is helpful for what we've had this season and this summer.
Continuation, but changes. We have to get the elephants in the room out of the way. Bryan Mbeumo obviously now is a Manchester United player. Couldn't foresee that happening at all, actually.
Yeah. I was shocked.
Most obvious transfer of the summer. How do you think you'll get on, first and foremost?
Um, I think I think I keep thinking it's a strange signing for United just because I know obviously it's a a 10 position, but I guess it'd be more floating on the right wing, but it is sort of almost a position he doesn't really play. And he is, I mean, I've always said on the pod that for me his best position is his right wing, and he's when he's out wide and he's taking on players, and obviously he'll do that in the 10, but it's a bit more whether it'll be more central or not. I obviously wait and see, but I think he's such a professional that I think he'll do well there. And you know, happy he's got his move. Obviously, we've got a huge amount of money for him, so yeah, it's hard to be anything but sort of happy that he's got his move. And there's been messages like things he said, that it was his club that he supported when he was young, and maybe just saying that for the cameras, but you'd like to think almost there's some truth to that. And the fact that he said, I want to go to United and nobody else. Um, I think it's quite nice as fans to say that, if United decided not to pay the money, then he was happy to stay at Brentford and carry on. So, yeah, it's very good to see a player being very professional at our club, unlike, unlike another one.
This literally went through the exact same theme on the last podcast with Neil saying, "Yeah, good luck to Dean Howson, but fuck Milos Kerkez." Basically, we'll get to the other fellow in a minute. Is Boomer on your radar for FPL at 8?
Uh, Not at the moment. I want to see how he fits in and how he gets on first. But yeah, he would be, and yeah, he's a great player, and I'm interested whether he'll take penalties away from Bruno.
Not judging by what I'd watched of United's game with Everton the other night, it was on the pitch. Bruno took it, so
Fine, but it was interesting because I thought, well, if he starts taking penalties as well, because he's such a good penalty taker, yeah, then he would be of interest. But yeah, don't know. Maybe not just yet.
I give up with saying about who's good penalty takers. I got asked a question on a Patreon Q&A months ago. Like, who would you give a penalty to if you had to put your life on it at the moment? And I actually nominated Bumo as a great choice, and he missed penalty next week, mate.
Yeah,
So that was
it
the
was your
first one he
fault then.
missed. Yeah,
It was
pretty
your fault.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Mind you, I thought Tony's first miss was going to be for England at the Euros, and Nick Pope had something to say about that. It's interesting, though, because I thought he'd come in more than 8, Bumo. If he
Yeah.
was 8 with you, I'd be like, oh yeah, very, very tempted after obviously last season. He's come in cheaper than I thought he would. And yeah, I'm not going to be there, I don't think.
I think. I think he's just playing in such a different. I assume will be a completely different formation to what
Yeah.
he's used to at Brentford. And again, I guess it's a bit like what we said a minute ago. If you've got some continuity, you know you can take what he was last season and build on that. Whereas going into a completely new environment with new people, with new players, having to learn his how he plays, yeah, I think it's a wait and see for me. But yeah, I hope he smashes it. To be fair,
Okay, good. All amicable. I got the impression, Tom, you're not happy with Yoane Wissa.
yeah, he can get out of my club. So yeah, it's like it, it's just a bit embarrassing, really, for me. You know, and you know, you see loads of players doing it nowadays, and it's just you. Thomas Frank says this whole thing about, but obviously when he was there, about having, the whole philosophy at Brentford is, we have a no dickheads policy. And then you've got Vissa doing this. And it's not, for me, it's if the bid was sort of like 40 million and it was like, that's a good fee we're going to get for Vissa, then I'd sort of accept him going like, oh, come on, guys, they've put in a decent bid. I want to play Champions League football. There's got to be some room there. But the bid of 25 mil, bear in mind we rejected 25 mil from Forest in January, and then he went on to score, I think, without penalties, I think it's like the joint second most goals in the league last season. Um, 25 mil seems a bit insulting. And then he's, oh no, come on, you've got to let me go. And now it's there's rumours that, oh, we had some agreement with the club, which has been pretty much poo-pooed by everybody I've seen, and like that wasn't the case. So
Okay.
yeah, a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So thanks for clarifying that because I had heard that there was potentially an agreement with the Champions League club that maybe could go for a certain amount of money. You're under no obligation to sell, even more
No.
so with obviously the money you've got from Mbeumo. The only thing I would say is he's always struck as a good character.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I always had off him. He was like quite a happy, jovial person on the pitch. You never saw him kind of getting in rows with people. He's always come across really well. Obviously not behind closed doors and can't see what he's like. But there is a chance here that he personally feels hard done by. That is a
Yeah,
possibility.
no, definitely. I mean, Andrews was interviewed after the QPR game and talked about it the other day, and he was he played it down a lot more, but I guess that's his job. So, I guess if Vista doesn't go and he has to be reintegrated into the squad, then of course you don't want your manager coming out and saying, "Let's get rid of him." Um, and I think the stance from the club has always been one of them will go, but not both of them will go.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting whether I mean, I still expect him now to go because I think it's quite hard for him to come back after how how everything's sort of played out. So I do sort of still expect him to go, but I think the fee now will have to be the right fee for us to even think about it.
Is it just Newcastle getting spoken about at the moment, or can we expect someone like
Yeah,
Forest to come back?
it doesn't. It seems to be just Newcastle. There doesn't seem to be anybody else that's sort of even sniffing around, which is yeah interesting. But yeah, I haven't seen anything at all of any of the clubs. I think Forest was very briefly mentioned right at the start, but that seemed to have just disappeared, and there doesn't seem to be any talk of that.
I think you'd be better off cutting.
Yeah,
Personally, I think the vibe that you've had around your football club, there's been a bit of upheaval. There's a kind of a real wanting to stay together as a
yeah,
collective. If something's pushing against that, and even to the extent it pushes some of the fans the wrong way, we think, hang on, we've got a money grabber here. This
yeah,
isn't what this football club's about. Yeah, I think you're better off. You're better off moving it on. By the
yeah.
way,
I
I
think
shouldn't
that
say money grabber necessarily. He's
no.
ambitious.
But I think. I mean, we talked about it last year, and I obviously put you off getting him in the team because my assumption was Thiago would come in and take his place anyway. So. I mean, obviously, then he had a great season and obviously proved me completely wrong, as you enjoyed all of those points you missed.
Yeah, I'd probably top 10K if it weren't for you, mate.
Uh, I,
And accidentally making 15 transfers in one go, but
yeah, I
that's a different
mean,
matter.
yeah, that's definitely not the reason, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it would be the right time for. I would have much rather seen Vissa go than Mbeumo go this season, but also £71 million for Mbeumo's
That's
not bad.
natural anyway, isn't it? Visser is not an he's a good player. He's
Yeah.
not indispensable, I
Oh
don't
no,
think.
I don't think so either. I think he's more replaceable.
If he stays, if there was say an announcement next week, I don't know, new contract signed, etc., he's staying, all's forgiven. Do you consider him at the start for FPL or not?
Um,
I ain't thought about it, James. I assumed he was going to piss off.
yeah, well, I don't think I would because I imagine because Thiago started the first two games, whether he would actually, because I mean, he's obviously not played
Oh
much
yeah,
preseason football, and so I probably would say no, avoid it.
yeah, spot on.
It would probably make me avoid Thiago more because I wouldn't be then safe going with Thiago because I feel like Wissa would just come in at some point and or there would be then mixture of minutes. Whereas at the moment, yeah, I'm more comfortable having Thiago.
Yeah, makes sense. What if he's at Newcastle? Sesko goes to Man United. Isak goes to Liverpool. It's just Wissa at Newcastle. I suppose it's the same thing. He's probably not going to start game week 1, is he?
Yeah, but exactly. He's not played any. He's had no preseason minutes. I know he's meant to have gone back to training today, apparently. Sorry, Monday, because obviously this is now Tuesday. So he's meant to go back to training yesterday. But I've not. I don't know whether he has or whether he's not. So that's to be seen. But even then, you know, you're talking what 10 days before the start of the season, and he's not played any preseason minutes. And so yeah, it would have to be one of those where I definitely wouldn't go with him at the start of the season.
Okay, let's talk a couple of incomings. We'll talk Keller in a bit. A couple of midfield players have joined. Jordan Henderson brings plenty of experience. You needed a new leader. I guess you've got one here. Although Nathan Collins obviously taking the captaincy.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy about it. Because it was one of
Just-
those where it's
why did you say it like that?
well, because I think it's one of those where I think when he left Liverpool, it was sort of like, oh, he's done, that's it, finished. We obviously haven't seen him in the Prem now, obviously for a couple of seasons, but or is it no, only one season, isn't it? Because he did half a season at Saudi and then half a season at Ajax. Is that right? I don't know.
It must be 2 years since he left
2 years,
Liverpool.
2
Must
years.
be, yeah.
But I think for me, it's even with he like even if I don't think he starts every game. I don't think maybe he'll play sort of 60% of games, I'd say, maybe throughout the season. The experience is exactly what we need, especially with the experience we've lost throughout the team. Like even the players like Mbeumo, if Wissa goes, Norgaard obviously captain, but the upgrade from a leadership point of view from Norgaard to Henderson is huge. And the amount of youth we have in the team, like that experience will be invaluable in hopefully guiding some of those younger players into becoming, you know, better leaders themselves. So yeah, I'm quite happy about it.
He's coming at 5. I'm gathering from what you're saying there, you're not expecting him necessarily to play every game.
I mean, I can't imagine him starting every game just because, I mean, he's a bit older than we've. I mean, we've got quite a depth of midfielders, and I just don't think that with his age and legs starting to go, whether he'll play every game. I think he maybe will be involved, but it might be like one game he starts, next game he comes off the bench or something like that.
And I think that might be a period sort of over Christmas and stuff like that. But I think to start with, mate, I think he would probably go in and play.
Hmm.
I guess there's an element if you're buying someone at his kind of value and you're thinking it from a DEFCON perspective, it really has got to be someone that essentially starts every week. Otherwise,
I think
what's the
so.
point in the consistency? Yeah, it wouldn't be a consideration for me, but you only have to see the way Thomas Tuchel's obviously gone back to him
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
England, and he's so highly valued by the best players in the country, right? So brings brilliant on-field and off-field skills for you. Another new signing you've got in, mate, you can tell us a little bit more about is Anthony Milambo's joined from Feyenoord. What do we know, mate?
Yeah, really exciting. Sort of played mainly Feyenoord as sort of 10 sort of attacking midfielder, but has played quite a lot as an eight and sort of basically a slightly more further forward attacking player. Um, Looked really good. Definitely one for the future. And I doubt he'll start right at the start, but it's one of those where I imagine he'll be eased in and then you'll see more minutes as the season goes on. Looks really great. Apparently, we followed him for since he was like 16. I think he was the youngest ever player to play for Feyenoord at 16. Um, yeah, did really well last season. And listening to what obviously all the final people, I think, because it's Robin van Persie that's there. Yeah, I think it's Van Persie that's Feyenoord.
You might be right. Don't quote me on that.
He was saying that he was disappointed they lost him because they wanted him for another season. They don't they thought they could continue to develop him. But yeah, looks really good. Looks really exciting. I'm looking for. I mean, in the game yesterday when he played, he looked great. Like really sort of eased straight into it. Obviously not. I mean, the opposition wasn't fantastic, but yeah, was a good. Looks good. Hopefully will be. But I think more one for the continued future development rather than sort of going straight into the team.
Centre mid?
Yeah.
What are we saying? Like an 8? I'm not saying
Yeah,
like
I'd
a
imagine
10
like
here.
yeah, it's more of an eight. Yeah, more of an eight. He plays both, and it's one of those where for Feyenoord he's played mainly as a 10. He's
Okay.
played out on the right as well, but they expect him that he can play. I mean, throughout his career, apparently he's played as a 6, he's played as an 8, he's played as a 10. And they're looking at it, they reckon he'll be more of an 8 going forward.
What are you expecting incoming wise? Are you expecting more?
I hope so. Um, right winger has got to be a must because the depth there is, well, there isn't any depth there. Maybe another striker. We've been linked to a couple, but obviously dependent on if Wissa goes or not. And then I guess it depends on outgoings really. So if anyone was to leave, then yeah, maybe a centre back. If we were we were actually linked to Vandenberg's brother for a little while, but that seems to have gone away. He's at Middlesbrough, Rav Vandenberg, but that seems to have disappeared. But I think if another centre back came in, then you'd see someone like maybe Pinnock or Chris Fry was linked with a few people. So whether one of them would leave and we'd replace him. But yeah, right wing. Basically, I think an Mbeumo and a Wissa replacement if Wissa was to leave.
What do you make the fixtures?
Yeah, they're interesting. No, I mean,
What does that mean?
you got to play everyone twice, don't you? So it doesn't.
Exactly what Jack said.
Is it?
Jack's worried.
Ah, it's. I mean, obviously, yeah, the home games are not so great, but I get, we've always played really well against the big teams, and so whether you get those out of the way and almost the positive, if Keith Andrews can get a result at Villa second game at home, that's quite a nice like confidence boost for the team. I mean, if we get pumped 4-0, then of course that's not going to go well at all. But there's the I think it's one of those where I think if they're almost like free hits. If we get the opportunity, if we win one, then it's a big confidence boost. And if we lose one, it's like, well, you can almost blame that. Oh well, it's new manager, it's a new season, we're doing all of this. Right, let's now focus on Sunderland away in 3 instead.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this when we spoke sort of a month ago. My real concern on them home games, you've got the exact opposite base of what you had last year. Last year, you had this incredible run of home victories because you,
Yeah.
you were playing all the big sides away from home. First 6 home games: Villa, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle. That concerns me.
Well, I mean, they'll be tough, but I think that there's points in there to be had, and I think that we do always seem to have a pretty good home record. So, even if it's okay, fine, might not win some of those games, but if we can sneak a couple of points here and there, um, you know, Villa a bit of an unknown, I guess, this season so far. Chelsea are still coming off of the Club World Cup, so whether they've even had well, they've got such a big squad, I guess they'll have recovered by then. United, I guess we don't know what we'll see. So I think there's lots of uncertainties as well with potentially the first few teams are playing. So we could see a few points in there and good away games as well,
Yeah,
or better
exactly.
away
It
games.
obviously goes the other way. I mean, you're not played in any of the top 8 in the bet until Arsenal away in game week 14. You go to Tottenham in 15. Yes, we are in the top 8 betting before anyone questions. Yeah, you don't have a great run at any point, primarily because those fixtures don't show up great. You do have a really good Christmas. I think for those
Yeah.
who, even though you've got the two North London teams in 14 and 15, you play Burnley at home in 13 when we know a number of people are targeting wildcard, and then the fixtures 16 onwards are quite good.
Mhm.
So I think you're going to be really interesting as kind of people looking for enablers around about that point. And we'll probably have a lot more clarity then, I hope,
Yeah.
than what we have now, because there are a few question marks. One that's not questionable is the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So your favourite Mark Flecken is gone, and I'm guessing he's no longer your favourite. Kevin Kelleher is your new goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's currently sitting in my draft, which I've promised myself I'm going to leave untouched till all 20 of these podcasts are finished. You're going to talk me out of this one, Tom, because he's the only Brentford player in there at the moment. So go on.
No, I mean they've increased the amount of bonus points you get for saves, and as you know, we love to have a goalkeeper which makes stupid amount of saves. So yeah, I think it's only right that well, I think he's the highest owned goalkeeper by a long way at the moment on FPL. I think
I
he's
don't know if he's still the most, but he's over 30%
it's like
owned.
30 odd percent. Yeah, I think I
Why
did
do
have
you
a look
think
just before
that's
we came
so
on.
high?
Um, I think he's probably for me. I think he's the best 4.5 choice. We've got a pretty whereas so the attack's obviously gone completely to pot this summer, but the defenses will be going from strength to strength. I mean, obviously we'll talk about it in a bit, but obviously players coming back from injury, it's now settled. Obviously you've got a new goalkeeper, but you've also got a goalkeeper, I guess, who plays with Nathan Collins or the Irish link up. So he's not going into a completely new set where he doesn't know anybody there. So he'll have a little bit of partnership with Collins. Yeah, and from everything I've heard from everyone that was associated with Liverpool that I'm friends with, they're saying like, well, he's a great goalkeeper, and the only reason they've got rid of him is because they need to make some money on him because they bought in another good second goalkeeper themselves. So he wants to go and play
Yeah.
first team football.
And he's ready to do that.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool fans would say, yeah, he's definitely ready to go play for another Premier League side and be the number one. You're absolutely right, by the way. It's not even close. Ray is at time of recording second highest owned goalkeeper, like under 19%.
Oh, right.
So by a long, long way, he's the most owned. I was looking at 4.5 keepers who scored more than him last year, and obviously, of course, he's only played what I think circa 10 games for
Yeah.
Liverpool. There's only four: Ariola, Jose Sarr, Verbruggen, and Kepa Arrizabalaga. Um, Two of them might not be first choice goalkeeper by the time game week 1 comes around. Kepa obviously certainly won't start for Arsenal. Verbruggen might be a doubt for Brighton. So yeah, I mean, people might end up defaulting to it. People obviously are. I don't know if it's just he's well known. He played for Liverpool. He must be good. Because I'm waiting for you to talk me out of it. I knew you wouldn't, but I was always talking myself out of it when I was talking about your fixtures.
Hmm. But then I guess it's one of those, a bit like when we had Flecken last season. It was like, okay, he might not keep a clean sheet, but if he makes 6 saves and I don't know we lose 1-0, then there's always a chance he sits on the bonus point system. And then if he does get that clean sheet against, say we're playing Man United and they're absolutely peppering us for 90 minutes and we do keep a clean sheet, then crikey, it's going to be a 10, 11 pointer. So, yeah, with the amount of added things they've added to the goalkeepers, I think it will be helpful. And the way we set up is always, quite a very defensive structure and allowing shots from distance. And yeah, could be, could be good.
I mean, ultimately, he's not there because of Ye. He's there because I think him and Verbruggen is just about the best 4.5
Yeah.
combination over the
Yeah.
first 12 weeks or so. And actually, if Verbruggen was to be unavailable for Brighton, which hopefully Sam will give us an update later in the week, then that would possibly completely tear up the Kelleher choice for me as well, actually. So yeah, I'm not sold on either of those keepers. Because if I'm looking at Keller for a rotation, well, what am I looking at? I'm playing him in away games, am I? Based on the fixtures you've got at the start, it's a bit weird, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I've got Kelleher and Verbruggen as well at the moment, but only because I'm probably going down the old bench boost route to start with. But I think I might even just stick him in and leave him in and just not take him out. I think I've always made the mistake of trying to rotate goalkeepers, and I don't know if whether you just leave him in and just let him play, and you know,
Well, with that in mind, who do you think's your number two?
oh, I was going to say Valdemarson, but is he not even on the?
He is, yeah, it's
Oh, he's on
4.0
there.
net.
Oh, he's just yeah. Oh, the new yeah.
You've
Oh,
got
Valdemar. Oh, sorry, yeah.
4.0 goalkeepers listed. I think Valdemarson is the one we
Oh
were
yeah,
most
Valdemarson
familiar with.
definitely. I was looking on the player section with good old FPL with the new
I know
Yoane
Matthew
Wissa.
Matthew Cox is quite well rated though, isn't he? He's played for England at youth levels and that.
Yeah, youngster, but I think like he was on loan last season and didn't tear up any trees. And Valdemarson was brought in definitely as like number two behind Flecken at the time. And yeah, when he's come in for Flecken, I've actually not been too unimpressed with him. I mean, he's Iceland number one. Um, he's incredibly young himself, and I think it's one of those where he will at some point he'll either have to move on because he wants to play first team football, or he will take over as number one if Keller's to leave or that at
Just
some
arrived,
point.
Tom.
No, I know. Well, at some point we do like selling.
We noticed. Yeah, there's. I mean, obviously you could do that for 8.5. Many are put off at the moment because of things like game week 1 bench boost. You always hear about these. Oh, I can have these two for 8.5. You're not hearing much of that spoken about at the moment.
But you
We've got
surely
two,
you want three Brentford players, so you don't want to block yourself off with a second goalkeeper.
all right, let's talk about some of the others then. You got two defenders in at 5.0.
Yeah,
One of which is your captain, your new captain, Nathan
yeah,
Collins. Seems quite well deserved and a popular choice. I spoke to you off camera before we started and said I've just seen him linked with Liverpool.
Yeah, it's not happening, is it?
Are you
So yeah, I
sure,
mean,
mate?
no, I mean, so I think, well, obviously what we said about just before is that Liverpool, we don't have to sell. We've got plenty of money. I mean, I think looking at like the PSR pre selling Mbeumo, it's something stupid. Like we could go and spend off like 200 million if we. I mean, obviously never going to do that, but we could do if we wanted to. So money's not an issue. We don't have to sell. He's under contract till 2029. So if Liverpool do want to put a bid in for him, it's going to cost them more than it's going to cost them to go get Mark Gay from Palace. And I'm sure other options. We've just made him captain. He seems to be absolutely buzzing. He's captain. So unless he does a Vista and tries to force away a move, I think he's going to be a Brentford player by the end of
More,
next season.
more than double the FPL points of any other Brentford defender last year, bar the other player who's also 5.0, but he's not much of a defender. We'll get onto him in a second. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The problem is I don't think his minutes are very secured
Oh,
because
well, Collins obviously is. I'm talking
oh
about
yeah, oh
Collins.
sorry, Collins. Oh yeah, sorry, Collins. Oh yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yeah. He's gonna
It justifies the zero point 0.5 more. He's the type of defender who will get his head on anything as well. He's
yeah,
better on the ball than people give him credit. He's quite comfortable carrying out with it. It's justified that he's gone in at 5. If he'd have been 4.5, it'd have been hugely popular.
yeah.
Are you tempted by that with him for 5?
Um, Not at the moment. I mean, because I've got Kelleher, it's sort of do I really want? And obviously we've mentioned the fixtures. Do I really want double Brentford defence? And it's no. It's probably not the right move. So no, at the moment, no. I
Keane
just
Lewis-Potter might be the OOP sensation, mightn't he?
it just the problem is his other position. I think he's going to end up being super sub this year because
Nah, I really like him, Tom.
yeah, I do, no, I do too.
I say
I
this all the time.
The problem is it's who does he like? Rico Henry is back, um, and he's going to be our left back. I'm pretty certain of that. I
You play in
mean,
front of him.
what and
Play
replace
left
Kevin
wing.
Schade?
Shove him to the other side.
Exactly. It doesn't work, I don't think. I think that's the problem. You know, he's yeah, I really like him too. I think he's a great player. And last season I think was one of his best seasons, but I think he's the to his detriment, what's going to happen is because he can cover now left back and left wing, it's like, well, we'll start with Henry, start with Kevin Schade, right? Who's fatiguing? Who's needs to come off? Right, take him off, stick Keane in, and it just seems to work from that side. And I'm sure he'll start games. There'll be certain games he plays, but I just don't think his minutes will be very secure this season.
How many games would you have to play in a row at left wing for you to think, I should probably look at this?
Oh, two, because then I'll know where Kevin Schade's playing instead.
Okay, interesting. So at the moment, if it was Collins versus Lewis Potter now, it's got to be Collins, is it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Who's Collins' likely partner at centre back?
Set Vandenberg, yeah,
It'd
pretty
be first
confident on that.
choice now
Yeah,
instead of, say,
yeah.
Pinnock, Ajay.
Well, Pinnock I think he was injured against the first preseason game. They said, oh, he might be back for QPR. Wasn't even on the bench. But the way it ended at the end of last season, I think Vandenberg had stepped into that first choice position now. Um, I don't think Chris Fires. I think Vandenberg's better than Ayer. And I think the Collins and Vandenberg sort of partnership towards the end of the season was nice. They were playing well together and have struck up, I think, a relatively good partnership in the middle. So I think, yeah, for me, those two working well together is the partnership.
What's your confidence in that on Vandenberg as his partner? We started 29
So
games last year, but
yeah,
obviously there were a number of them at right back as well.
yeah. I think my only problem with him at the moment is so he was in the first preseason game, but for some reason all of a sudden there was quite a few players that weren't in the game on the weekend. And so I don't know why that is, and they've not come out and said anything. They've not said he's injured. There's been no information whatsoever. So if he rocks up on Friday against Mönchengladbach, then yeah, I'd be pretty confident it'll be a Collins and Vandenberg start against Forest. But because he hasn't played the last game, I don't know where he is at the moment.
Yeah, he's the sort of player, Vandenberg. I think you need some context when you're looking at, say, the DEFCONs from last year, because said that there's
Yeah,
obviously a number of games there where he's played right back. I actually think that if he was locked in to play alongside Collins, he'd be worth the saving.
yeah. I think for me, because I'm going down the Kelleher route, if I've got the luxury that I can wait, and then if we do come up to better fixtures, and I don't want two attackers, and I'd rather go for two defenders because he's so cheap. I think that would be, yeah, I probably would think about him too.
Rico Henry. Is
Yeah,
he well, mate?
he is well. Yeah, um, positive playing minutes. I just hope he doesn't get any injuries again because yeah, he is. It's like a new having him back is like having a new signing. He's
He's
yeah.
basically missed 2 years, man.
Oh no, I hope if he's anywhere back to 80% of the player he was though, then yeah, he comes in at left back for sure. I mean, well, obviously we were talking 2 years ago before he got injured about England don't have a left back and could Rico Henry get a call up? So and then unfortunately got injured just before. So yeah, for me he's such a good player. And from a defensive point of view, the speed, well, hopefully he still has some of his pace because
Mm.
if he has any of that pace left, then crikey, he'll be well needed. Um, yeah, when you've got two centre backs that run through treacle.
You expect him to start as it stands?
Yes. Yeah, I'd say starts.
It's too risky to consider, though, isn't it? Probably
Oh,
with the history
yeah.
record at the
And
moment.
and he's never really been that attacking. Um, he's been quite defensive, and so with the new defense contributions, I think you wouldn't go with someone like Henry because I think you'd almost have more of a focus on the right hand side where we've got more attacking sort of options at right back. If you were going to go, if you wanted a more attacking player, but even then,
Go on and talk to us about Michael Kyoto.
I mean, he looks brilliant. I
But
think, yeah, but Aaron Hickey's back as well. So I don't know.
Hickey can play both sides.
He can play both sides, but I don't know who's going to. I think Hickey still is for me is going to be a right back with Coyote, and then you've got Henry on the left with now Keane Lewis-Potter available to play over there, with obviously Chris Vyre still available to play pretty much along the back line. Kyler's, I mean, I'm so happy we signed him permanently because he looked so good, and I mean he got an assist on the weekend. Nathan Collins scored a goal, and the ball whipped across was so nice. But Aaron Hickey is, again, it's one of those players that because he's been away for such a long time. I mean, just before he got injured, he was linked with Man City, so it's like he, if he hasn't dropped off that far, then Aaron for me, and I mean Aaron Hickey just signed just before the end of last season. I think he signed a new long-term contract as well with us. Um, so he's definitely committed to playing with us, and it will be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work because you've got two very very good right backs. So as you said, you know you've got a player I guess can play left back as well. Hickey's pretty versatile in that side of things. So for me, I'd probably not be going Coyote. He probably will start game week 1, I'd imagine, because I can't imagine Hickey's quite back full
Okay.
match fitness.
Yeah. 2 years ago, on an end of season podcast, I was asked about early thoughts for the following season. I actually named Aaron Hickey. It was 2 years
Mm.
ago as a player I thought would end up being a really, really popular 4.5. Another one been done over really badly by injuries. He's four. It was one of them when you scrolled through the list and you went,
It's 4
you had to,
million.
see, look, you've just done it yourself. Some doesn't even know. He's
I
4
didn't.
million,
I just
mate.
assumed he's at 4.5.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Uh,
right. Well, I mean, then, but again, there's no way you go for him now. But
no.
then, to be honest, well, give it sort of 10 weeks, see how the team's progressing. And to be honest, at that point, just throw him in. I mean, at
But
4 million, that's
But it's
crazy.
it's different now, isn't it? You'll have heard me say in the past, I've learnt lessons with Brentford defenders. Just go for the centre
Centre
backs. Now,
backs.
admittedly, you've got a different manager now, it might obviously be a bit different. But the fullbacks actually, like Rico Henry's a great pick, 'cause he's so brilliant to watch as well, right? You knew he was going to bomb up and down the touchline all game long. But it was before the case that it should be your centre backs. Surely with Defcons, it's now even more the case
Yeah. Yeah.
that it
Oh,
should be
yeah.
your centre backs. And Hickey's not going to get many def cons, even in comparison to obviously not your players, but 4.0s at other teams.
Yeah.
You've got to keep the clean sheets. He's not going to get many attacking returns. He's someone in the old format of the game,
Would
essentially.
have
We'd have
been
gone,
good.
if he starts game week 1, that's the 4.0. No one's talking about him.
Change now. Yeah. No, yeah. It's wait and watch on that one, I think. Maybe that something will happen and, he's all of a sudden an assist machine, but I doubt it all of a sudden. And again, we can't even say his minutes are going to be there at the moment. So, yeah, maybe in like 10 game weeks' time or a wild card 13 when you want to stick in a Brentford defender. But yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
think
right
that'll
now.
come back around. Yeah,
Mhm.
I really do. I think that'll come back around and be interesting, particularly over the Christmas period. So I think of the 4.5s, we're saying Vandenberg, are we? If
Vandenberg,
we
yeah.
include Hickey in that bracket.
Yeah.
Okay, Vandenberg versus Kelleher. You'd say Kelleher.
Kelleher, yeah.
But is it you and I are influenced because we're looking at potential bench boost in game week 1, right?
I think
If we
that I mean
remove that,
I mean personally I always like going for a really cheap goalkeeper anyway, and he's a cheap goalkeeper that you know is going to make loads of saves. So if what everyone said is true, that he's a better version of Mark Flecken, and you know how much I love Mark Flecken, um, surely he's going to make a shitload amount of saves.
you're a one-man fan club, I can tell you, mate.
Oh, I know.
Right, let's talk about some attacking players.
Yeah,
So, if Wissa goes,
yeah,
Igor Thiago, who many of us have hardly seen, another one pretty much missed the whole season because of injury,
yeah,
is in at 6.0. He would
yeah.
look an absolute lock to play up front. But if Wissa goes, you're going to buy someone else, aren't you?
Probably, but we spent £30 million on him last season, in my opinion, to come in as the long-term replacement for Wissa. And so for me, if we did sign somebody else, I imagine it would be almost a bit like Milambo. It's like, was it sign someone for the future that can come in and play behind Thiago as an understudy, would be happy to be almost second choice. And so, yeah, I think if Vissa goes, and well, I mean, at the moment, my thoughts are Vissa's going to go and Thiago's sat in my team. Now, obviously, I'm always a bit biased, as you know. Um, but yeah, I think
I'm,
at six,
you know what's going to happen here, don't you? Thiago's going to win the golden boot, and I keep putting you off him every time you come on a pod.
exactly. That works for me. That works for me. If Thiago's golden boot winner, I never own him in FPL. That works for me. But yeah, I mean, if especially, I mean, from the start, from game week 1. He's if Vissa goes, well, I mean, at this moment in time, I can't see anybody else starting up front for Brentford apart from Thiago in game week 1 because Vissa's not playing any minutes in pre-season. So even if he stays, he's going to play. You know that, yeah. So he's going to start. He's going to play. We got Forest away first game, which is probably a tough game, but also he's only 6 million, and we do like pre-season's not been great from a goals point of view, but we do like scoring goals. So
I
um,
I totally get that he was bought to come in and be the number 9.
yeah,
I think what we should be conscious of is he's missed 6 months out of injury, and we don't know what the recovery is.
yeah,
And for him to be kind of, you're definitely going to get someone else understand what you're saying. It might be an understudy, almost then to take over from him, maybe.
yeah.
But you've got to think he's missed all that time to then have all that weight of pressure who's got to be the number 9 when he hasn't actually adjusted to the league, really.
Yeah, I think the bits I've
Down.
watched of him in the two preseason games, he's looked pretty sharp. I don't think he's been amazing, or I don't think he's been like he's not pulling up any trees, but he's had a few opportunities where you sort of like he's in the right positions, he's getting himself sort of where you want him to be. From the little bits I've watched, obviously because we haven't watched much of him because obviously he was injured all last season, strikes me a little bit like more like Ivan Toney, to be honest, a bit more sort of stick him if you stick him in the box, he's a big bloke. So I mean, I can imagine a few Taron headers. Yeah,
All right. I'll throw you another curveball.
go on.
Forest away game week 1. Tough opponent. You want to suck them in. That's what teams started doing at Forest, drawing them on. Rather than getting countered by Forest, draw them on. You want to play with speed on the break. Keane Lewis-Potter plays left wing. Schade plays 9.
Uh, no, I can't see it. No, I can't. I, I don't think it will happen. No,
So do you see Schade almost exclusively as a left winger now?
at the moment, I think he has the potential to. I think he's going to be a bit Ollie Watkins-esque, where he's always been a winger, and then we slowly turned Watkins into a striker. I think Shardy has all the attributes to play as an out-and-out striker, but he is so quick and can definitely take on a player that playing out on the left works perfectly for him. Um, so no, I think that for me, I'm pretty certain we're going to have Shardy on the left and Thiago at top.
So your football club has never converted people like Watkins and Wissa from wingers to forwards
Yeah,
before.
no, oh no, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen. No, I think we will see Sade in the future being used in different positions. Like you said, if we go, let's say Chelsea, and we decide to play three at the back, you might even see Thiago and Sade
Together.
playing up top, and you might then see, Keane Potter playing as left wing back. Um, but yeah, until we see a change of formation at the moment, I think we're going to go into the first game as a 4-2-3-1, and so therefore Sade will be on the left and Thiago up top.
And therefore, I'm guessing from what you're saying, you think Thiago, million left, number a million less, number 9, he's going in.
Yeah, I've got both of them at the moment, but um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can tell it always goes wrong with me, doesn't it? So no wonder I've never won FPL. Um,
Yeah, my favourite one of yours was when you had Tony got a hat trick against Leeds, and everyone owned him except you because you were
apart
stuck
from
on a
me,
different Trevor
yeah, exactly,
Brentford.
exactly right. So I really should learn. I'll start with two and then pick up the one that goes best. Um, yeah, I do have both at the moment. I
Okay.
just, but I mean, I've barely touched my draft. It's sort of just been,
I don't mind the theory of this, actually. I've concerns about Thiago because I don't think we can see what happens next. I think Schade is definitely within that bracket of 7 million midfielders. That's a strong consideration, and I think there is a chance he occasionally plays through the middle
yeah,
as well. I think when you look at the squad at the moment, you're taking Mbeumo and Wissa out of it.
yeah,
That's what we're assuming, certainly, that Wissa goes. So you're looking at the rest of the squad and you're going, well, who's going to step up for goals? And you start looking at people like Henderson and Jensen and Damsgaard, and you think, are these guys going to give me enough? Actually, these guys, two of them two, could provide such a high proportion of your goals.
yeah, yeah. I think we've lost the goals out of the team, but I don't think we've lost all the creativity. So I mean, if we look through, I mean, like Damsgaard's obviously was really great last season. And you'd like to think that hopefully he takes another step up. Um, we've got players obviously like Carvalho, who's, I mean, he had didn't really sort of very bit part, was very again had a very injury prone season, and then obviously dislocated shoulder, had shoulder surgery at the end of it, and so I think we're going to see players like that come into the fold, and hopefully, although we're losing, sorry, we've lost one very good goal scorer and potentially losing a second one. We've seen it before, so I mean, I think I put out a tweet ages ago because everyone's obviously written us off already this season. And I think our season we lost our top two scorers was we lost Ollie Watkins and we lost Said Benrahma, and we had a devastating season, finishing third and then getting promoted to the Premier League. So we've sort of been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and as you always know from me, I'm pretty confident in our management and how we look after the team. I know it's completely different. We're in the Premier League this year, and it's new manager, and there's a lot more change. But I think there's still a lot of creativity in the team that can provide goals, and
And I think the point that I would look at it at the moment is you're going to be adding more.
I think so
Because
too.
when we look
Yeah,
at the rest of that squad, it's like who's going to
yeah, yeah,
provide. And one of those players we're relying on potentially is he's had a really bad long-term injury.
yeah.
I think there's going to be more attackers coming in here, and that's what makes me nervous about Thiago. Doesn't make me nervous about Schade
Mm.
because I
Yeah,
know
no,
now he's proved at the end of last season he's going to be first choice.
I guess the thing you've got with if we didn't sign another striker, say I think because I mean the one I've seen the most links with, I don't know if it will happen, is Hutchinson, obviously right wing. I think for me, right wing is we have to sign a player because otherwise we're stuck with Carvalho and Gustavo Nunes, who also was out obviously all of last season and is only 19 years old. Whereas I guess exactly what you said, if Thiago does get, let's say Thiago gets injured, well, who can play through the middle? Well, Kevin Schade. So it might be that you have that player and then you've got Keane Lewis-Potter who can play left wing. So like, you did say that a second ago if that could happen, and let's say Thiago, I think so. I think Schade going to start left wing. I think Thiago's going to start up front. But let's say Thiago got an injury, and who are we going to call on? Well, you've got a player who's played striker previously for Freiburg.
Okay, let's cover the other midfielders briefly before we finish up. The Damsgaard at 6,
Uh,
reasonable price.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's actually. I don't think he gets like loads of defense, like the defensive things, but he sort of gets himself involved.
He's busy.
He's busy. Yeah, he's always, yeah, he's a 10, but he does the way we play, it's like everyone gets back. And so he does get himself in and involved. So I think it's an interesting one to monitor. I mean, at 6 million, it's obviously cheap, but I think obviously not at the start. Definitely one to watch.
Yeah, I think my concern with him is a really good season in terms of
Yeah.
technically and how he played. The attacking returns went up last year, but
Mm.
he's a brutal start for you. Two Premier League goals in 50 starts.
Yeah. Can only go north then, can't it, really? Well, I guess
Well,
it
no,
can't,
the
but
point with that is now with the def cons, it's like
Mhm.
if you're a 10 and you're not scoring, your assists aren't
Yeah.
enough anymore, are
No.
they?
Yeah, sure, sure.
That's how it feels. Love him as a player. I think he's
Yeah.
done really well. I was really pleased that he's stepped up for you. Do we think Carvalho is starting to right then?
I mean, he has to at the moment. Um,
5 million, mate.
yeah, I know. he's he hasn't looked amazing in the games that I've watched in the little bits, but I think we'll see. I think Friday we'll see basically a starting 11 would be my assumption against Mönchengladbach, and then. But again, it's if you bring someone in, it's can they come in and start first game? So probably not. So yeah, I think you're more than likely going to see Cavalli out on the right first game. Whether he
Mm,
stays it, whether he keeps it, obviously that'll obviously be performance
Yeah, I mean,
based.
again, this is thinking ahead. This is you've lost your best right winger. It doesn't mean that Carvalho might not become that player, but he's comfortably quickly could be someone you put in and you buy Hutchinson as an
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
Yeah. That said, if you're going Carvalho, there's every chance he's going as the eighth attacker. You could punt it.
yeah. For only 5 mil.
He's a talented player, no doubt about that. What can you tell us about Gustavo Nunes?
Um, Not a lot really because we haven't
You
watched
ain't
very
seen
much of
much of
him.
him.
I've seen barely anything of him. I mean, there's obviously lots to talk about him. Again, it was sort of an exciting one for the future when we signed him last season. Um, but apart from that, I've not been able to watch enough of him to sort of get excited. And he went down with a small injury in the first preseason game. I don't think he was involved in the second one, so I don't think, going to be involved first game of the season.
Okay, go on then. Tell us, put it to line up game week one.
Scalaher in goal, Kiyode right back, Collins and Sepp, Vandenberg, Rico Henry on the left, and then Henderson, Yarmouk, Carvalho ahead of Damsgaard ahead of them, Carvalho on the right, Schade on the left, Thiago up front.
Okay. Yarmouk over Yano, yeah?
Janat's injured, so
Okay.
he had ankle surgery in April, so he won't be back until sort of early start of the season. But no, he's not in, and I think Yarmouk will get the choice over Jensen first game because you've got Henderson with the experience to partner with him.
Yeah, agree. I think probably a better partner for Henderson to start with
Bit more
would
legs.
be my take. I wouldn't rule it out being Milambo from the start.
Um, I think they'd
Particularly as
want.
well, Forest opening day, again, that kind of transition, that quick.
I think it'd be a bit. I mean, you've got to take Forest as the fact that they finished seventh last year and were a very good side, and I think it'd almost be a little bit too attacking and to throw him in the first game. I think would be. I think he'll come off the bench, but I don't think he'll start.
Okay. Tell everyone, Tom, how many points clear you're going to finish at the drop.
Um, Quite far ahead of it, I think. I think it's going to be surprising, and I think people are going to be,
Well, it's quite far.
uh, let's say,
A
tw
week, game week
12.
37, clinch it.
No, I need to go with a good, sort of saying, good 12 points, I reckon.
I'd only concern for you at this moment if you have bad injuries, I think. And
Yes.
if all those home games go by and you don't win any of them and you don't pick up points you're going to be down there and fighting to look up, and a couple of the others coming up, Leeds and Sunderland have strong starts. But as long as it stays, it's like most people. You look at the 17 teams that are sat from last year, and it's like I don't think any of them will really go down.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what Neil said on his, but the fact, would I rather have my defense ripped apart or my attack ripped apart? And I think I'd rather have my attack ripped apart. I know it's goals, but defend is so hard to get.
Uh, that
Keeping a good defensive structure in the Prem just seems to be,
that's interesting. That, but you, in terms of your volume at the top end, has always been really strong.
yeah.
Like I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure it's your eighth. You've been eighth for XG the last three seasons.
Yeah. Right.
So
Okay.
that tells us that that end of it is absolutely carrying you well clear
Sure. But then
of
I
any
guess
trouble.
obviously we sat here last year and it was like, well, how are we gonna cope without Ivan Toney? And so now we sit here this year and it's how are we going to cope without Bryan Mbeumo and maybe Yoane Wissa? So
That's absolutely to your
yeah.
credit because it feels like Tony left you a long time ago. But then I
Mm.
guess
The yeah.
Thomas Frank's a very good football manager, isn't he, mate?
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, Paris Saint-Germain will tell me otherwise next week. Thank you very much, Tom. Anything you want to plug before we finish?
Yes, very quickly. I am running a 100-kilometer triathlon this weekend. I got the
Good luck.
weekends right this time. And yeah, I'm running it for Prevent Breast Cancer as a charity. It's close to my heart. So yeah, if you do want to donate, that would be lovely. But also, if you wouldn't mind, just if I post about, if you share it, that'd also be lovely. So yeah, the bigger the reach it gets, the more that happens.
Where can we find the link, Tom?
It'll be on my Twitter page, which is FPL Dummy Tom, and I'll try and probably post about it this week because yeah, I'm trying to reach my target, which I think I'm £5 away from a target. So
Good man. I am gonna try and put it in the bio, but if I forget, don't kill me because I've got about another how
a
many
million
podcasts
podcasts
to
today.
edit before I edit your one, basically. Yeah, that's basically it. Tom, thank you very much, mate. Good luck for the season ahead. Uh, Banging schedule for Correspondent Week tomorrow. First up, Chris Stone on West Ham United, who suddenly from nowhere have loads of interest in FPL assets. Then there's a Correspondent Week debut for our new Manchester United correspondent Alex Trembath. Simon Bibby will be joining us to give the Newcastle side of events on what's happening with Alexander Isak and the Toon Army. And then we're going to finish the day with Gary Mansell on Chelsea. Which leaves me to say, Tom, thank you very much, my friend. Be nice to each other, everyone. Cue music, please, man child.